This
Well,
is
and I
the.
think I think as we get older, we learn to make those decisions faster because time is more
Possible.
important.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I think that as it becomes more important to have more good things in our lives and around us, we make those decisions faster. Uh, the, and I think that relates to business. And one of the keys is making those binary decisions, yes or no, and then living with the consequence of it, and then making the next decision that you need to make based on the previous decision. Realizing whether it was a good decision or not um, is important. Whether or not it was good is not important because you had to make a decision anyway. You know, which
Hmm.
product, which person, which place, which time. It very often, I mean, experience will tell you which choice is the better choice, but only time into the future will will clarify and guarantee that and reaffirm your decision anyway. So
Hmm.
uh, the past can only teach us so much, and
Hmm.
then we have to learn from it, act, react, and then have what I call course correction, constant course correction. It's necessary to, like the pilot of a ship is always just moving the ship just a little bit and correcting the course to
Hmm.
make sure
Hmm.
that it's going in the right direction. And so, um, yeah, I think that problems are sent to us to teach us things that we need to learn about ourselves. And I don't think we understand that, especially when we're young. I don't think we get that at all. But I think it becomes much clearer later on. Um, also, maybe dependent relationships are a disaster. Really,
Hmm.
when you are completely dependent, or even your emotions are dependent upon the reactions of other people, those are disastrous places to be in terms of personal relationships. So, um, having the strength to disconnect is extremely important and very powerful. And we take that lesson from our personal lives and we can apply it to our businesses as well and say, okay, I don't need to work with these people. Perhaps it was good, we needed to try it to see how it would work. We give people the benefit of the doubt. We trust them.
Hmm.
Um, and it's like we trust but verify, and verification happens over time. Yeah, okay.
Hmm.
I trust you. I'm not sure I believe you, but I trust you. Time will tell. Time will tell whether you prove me wrong and I'll be happy.
Hmm.
Right, it's one of my personal philosophies. Prove me wrong and I'll be happy because then I'll learn something that I didn't know about myself. Yeah, I'll learn from my mistake. But if I'm right, I'm right. I'm right because of my experience. But prove me wrong and then I can grow. So I always challenge people to prove me wrong so that I can learn something new, and be a better person. It's not bad to make mistakes. It's bad to consistently make the same mistake without learning anything, but it's definitely not bad to make mistakes. So, um, and I think also um, we have to learn a lot of things ourselves that we are not guided or mentored by our parents to learn, and our parents very often fail in that area. So the role of a father is to guide his daughter along the path of how to select a good partner, who to spend time with, and who to avoid. And if we get involved a lot of the time in bad relationships, it's usually because we haven't been guided in the right way
Hmm.
in the past. You teach people what you know and then you let them go. And if you're still constantly trying to tell people what to
What
do,
they
they
to
will
do.
inevitably react against that. It's just
Mm.
inevitable. The human state is, especially with children and parents, is that beyond the age of 15, you are almost inevitably going to run off in a different direction if your parents try to push you in one direction. Now, if the parents step back and say, "We're here if you want to come to it. You got a problem, you want to talk about it. We'll give you our perspective, but we won't. tell you exactly what to do. We're older, we have more experience, we can guide you. We can't help you to avoid all problems because some problems are necessary. Perhaps, as we already discussed, and I tell this to my kids, perhaps you need the problem. Perhaps you need the problem. Perhaps it's necessary to have the problem. Um, Perhaps the problem is here for a very specific reason, and it might make your life much more difficult now, but maybe it'll make it easier in the future. Maybe it'll take you down another path. Just there's a few basic things we have to remember, like you can't change anyone. It's absolutely impossible. Um, and the secret to changing others is learning to manage our own emotions, because we know deep down inside we can't change anybody. We understand that. It's fundamental. We know that we can't change anybody. So what we're trying to do when we change other people and we want to change other people is we want to manage our own emotions so we're not feeling what it is that we feel. And that's what we need to deal with. Why do we feel what we feel? And how can we manage those feelings we feel? Because we understand that very, very few people ever have a revelation and completely change how they live their lives. It's a minority. But definitely all, all, all my failed relationships taught me a lot that I didn't know. I'm very sorry that they had to happen, but I definitely learned a lot of things that I needed to know. Actually, I should have known them already, but darn it, darn it, it always takes a little bit longer. Right, it always takes a little bit longer.